The Market Theatre will be celebrating Black History Month with their captivating production, The Brother Size. The story is about two brothers. The show goes on to explore brilliantly the complexities of brotherhood, devotion and freedom. Award-winning artistic director of the Market Theatre, Ngcobo, directs the South African revival of The Brother Size for a limited season, which is currently showing until the 28th of February this year. And he joins us now for more. Very good morning to you, Mr. Ngcobo. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, Simpi. How are you?
I'm good. Great having you on this show this morning, sir. First of all, Mr. Ngcobo, why is it so important for the Market Theatre to celebrate Black History Month and put a play of this magnitude together?
You know, I've always said I'm going back to what even the struggle years were about in this country was not only just about our emancipation as a nation, but to finally belong to the part of the bigger narrative, which is the universal narrative. And I guess our curiosities at the market about a black story, starting from South Africa, the continental one, the one from the diaspora, just gives us the most beautiful linkage with a universal black narrative.
Now, what's so challenging about bringing this script together and bringing it to life?
One is we challenge ourselves as a theatre to constantly be showing this type of content that was 8 years ago new to our patrons, but our patrons are used to it. Stories that are from afar, to challenge actors to get into these accents and tell these stories in their authenticity. And that, for me, it is an absolute delight that audiences look forward to every year. And we've achieved to actually just really offer that content. And I've always worked with an African American in the room to make sure that the sound and everything is absolutely authentic.
Yeah, and speaking of the authenticity of the sound, I mean, how is this production bringing something new to the story?
I mean, what is also so amazing about this production is that Terrell wrote this play. It's set in Louisiana, and yet the absolute joy is that all the characters are named after Yoruba, Nigerian gods. They are called Oshuzi, Oguni, and Ilegba. And he takes the Yorishas from Nigeria, and he does a beautiful linkage of where these men who live in America today, where do they come from? They come from West Africa. And we had to play with the Yoruba cosmology in the play. And I even worked with a sister called Yewande Omoto Show, who's Yoruba, who helped to guide that content. And so as far as plays go, and all the American plays we've done in the market, we've never made one like this. And every year I look for a different one. I sit and read these plays and just think, here's the territory that we haven't tapped into.
Right. And, Black History Month is yearly or annually celebrated in February. And it's designated as the month to commemorate African American history. So how do we localize and, just bring a South African feel to the celebrations of Black History Month?
I will tell you, around the world, people curate South African work in spaces that they're at, in Holland, in cities like Utrecht, Amsterdam, and Den Haag, and in other parts of the world, they are constantly curating stories from the African continent. And it is important that we are not myopic in the way that we program our theaters. And if we could do a Shakespeare in this country, a Sam Shepard in this country, so why not curate a black work from somewhere else and try and celebrate it the way it is? There are countries around the world that even have weeks completely dedicated to South African music. That's where we at. The world is curious about what other pockets of the world are doing, and that's exactly what we have at the market. And we've been the only theatre on the continent for a very long time that does this work, and we see it growing to other spaces, and it absolutely excites us that we started this at the market, and people and other theatres are hooking onto it. You celebrate being black universally, and when you bring a play from Jamaica in this country, do it as a Jamaican work. Don't adapt it. Because in Jamaica, when they do Woza Albert or Bopa, they don't localize it. They make it as a South African play. And the testimony to all of these are the audiences that are coming to watch Brothers Size. It is absolutely selling out at the market. And we've now been invited to take it to Holland in October.
So as we celebrate blackness, as we celebrate Black History Month, there's no better way to do that than through South African theatre. You've just said that, it is such a pinnacle in global theatre. So how does South African theatre compare with the rest of the world in terms of, just being having been an ingenuity in terms of the arts?
I mean, we are held at the highest of esteems as a country. And the South African story is really, and one has had the pleasure. I've written plays and directed plays that have performed around the world. And there is something really delightful when we take works, whether we in Washington, D.C. or anywhere in Ghana. People come to watch, because there is something about this country, the palette of storytelling that has always excited the world. This country has inspired playwrights. Some of them are Irish, to write plays that are based on stylistically how we do things here. And so I guess we need to marvel at one of the most delightful things that we've been able to do, to just show the world how to handle narrative. And there are young people who are doing their dissertations at different universities around the world, studying South African storytelling, studying South African writers. So our space, us in Nigeria, in the UK, we are absolutely loved by sort of British audiences, and and in Canada, and so it's just another way to hoist the flag of the country, to take the coat of arms to the country, not in a political sphere, but in a world of story. And as you know, Simply, you've seen theater, and theater is about emotion, and emotion is universal. When a boy meets a girl, they meet one the same way anyway in the world. Right. And so we've been able to do that as the market, and the market is known worldwide for that.
And what sort of person is going to love this show?
Is somebody who's absolutely curious about Black life beyond just the life that we know in this country. We grew up listening to Earth, Wind and Fire, the OJs and Gladys Knight. We've had American content with us for years, the Peter Toshes, the Bob Marleys, and we've read books by Marcus Garvey, by Cesar Amer. We've been a country that has always been in love with how much we can blow the Black narrative, and so it is that ilk of a person that comes to the market and watch a play about a brother trying to save a brother, and they go, I have one of these in my family. And there is nothing that is in Brother Size that you don't find in families in this country, in Black families. And that is why I love Terrell. He has written such Black issues and in such an amazing way. This play could be read by a person from Toga, from anywhere. And they just go, I knew I went to school with a guy like this. A guy like this lives down the road from me. A guy like this used to go to church with my father. And so it's you watch it, it's in an American accent, obviously, because it's in the South, in Louisiana. But when you watch it, it's a story you know.
And what would you like the audience to think of in their car as they drive home after watching this show?
It's people who have gone through a lot of degradation, which in this case are Black people. Is we are healing in so many dimensions, and we are trying to find the things that were lost in the fire, and that is what is happening. And my heart just smiles when I sit around the table and break bread with friends and find such positivity, and people who are saying the world is not perfect, but you can't sit whinging and moaning about it. What do you do? What is your contribution to fixing what you think is not right about the world? When I'm with people like that, I love it, because to complain. Anyone can complain. But what do we do about it? We have to mentor the young. We have to share what we know with the young, impart skill on the young. Then you are doing something. You're not saying to me, you're waiting for the government to do something. I just get very tired when I hear that. What do we do to fix?
Right. Great point you've made there. And let's talk about the cast members.
I have gone and worked with actors I've never really directed at the market. I wanted to challenge. Selfishly, it was about me. I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted actors that I have no shorthand with. Marlo Minar, I saw him in Cape Town, blew my mind. Katlego Chale, what a beautiful actor. Nhlakanipho Manqele, and audiences are loving just seeing faces they've never seen at the market. But what these boys put out, it is of an international standard. This is the first time in the history of the market theatre that a play is offered a run internationally before it even finishes a run at the market.
Okay, and please do share details.
We perform Tuesday to Sunday. Tuesday to Saturday is at 7 o'clock. On Sunday we have a matinee at 3, and Ticket Web where you can get our tickets. And you'll find us on Twitter. You'll find us on all social media platforms. We are everywhere. Just look for the Market Theatre and our website. And we are out there. You can buy tickets at the market. You can buy them online. But get them. This is the last week. Just come and see what South African actors, the training in this country is on par with the world. And the actors we have there are just, the other night we had a bunch of New Yorkers, African Americans, 20 of them who came to see the show, and they were blown by it. And they said to me, the accents, these guys are from Louisiana, coming from African Americans who work here for the Chamber of Commerce in Joburg.
Wow, lovely stuff. Thank you so much, Mapoloba. Thank you so much. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
We just spoke to artistic director James Ngcobo as the award-winning play The Brother Size makes its return to the Market Theatre in celebration of Black History Month.